I think it's safe to start. So hello, everybody. I am your host, Eric Smith, and we're jumping right into my favorite horror with author, Monster Man, Final Guy, Cryptid Enthusiast. Welcome, Hunter.
Thank you for reading my tombstone.
Is that what it's going to say?
That and bye-bye.
All right. Well, I'm going to start off with some comic book stuff because I noticed that you have that beautiful Spider-Man box back there.
Yeah, it's one of the little ones, so it's not big, but yeah, just got it like a week ago.
I need more boxes. I'm looking right over here. I have 5 of the long boxes. I have 2 short boxes. They're the Monsters Unlimited. I don't know. It was a Marvel thing,
right?
That Cullen Bunn wrote. But I want one of those Spider-Man boxes, and I need at least one more long box.
Well, come on up here. You can have it. I'll just lay them out all over the place like I did before.
So right before we started recording, you said you've got a pull list now?
Yeah, I'm back in, man. It's always been like that with me. I come and go, and I'm enjoying the pull list.
Okay, well, twice in my life, I've sold off my entire collection. When I went into the Air Force, and then I don't remember why I did it the second time. And and I've quit a few times, but now I'm back. But I'm curious, what is on your pull list?
Okay, so by the way, before this I was doing trades like off and on, but I'm enjoying them. I'm enjoying the wait. I think we're in this society of instant gratification now, and binging and everything. I'm enjoying the fact of, oh, all right, I got 30 days to wait before I can read the next thing. So that's kind of cool. So I have. It's so funny. I'm back into Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Which I got that delivered when I was a kid. I was allowed to have 4 comic subscriptions, so they get delivered in a brown paper wrapper like it was a dirty magazine. And to get to the mail slot, the mailman always like bent them in half and shoved them through.
Worst.
I know. So I remember I started with Shogun Warriors.
Nice.
Fantastic Four, Captain America, and I think Rom Space Knight.
Nice.
I think that those were my 4. Shogun Warriors, Spit the Bit, then I was into Kazar. Which Kazar, the new Kazar is in the pull list. Just first 2 issues I've gone through. I'm not really thrilled with this take on Kazar. I don't know if you've read them.
I just read the first issue because I'm about 2 months behind in my reading of my monthlies, and I just read the first one. But just going over the solicitations, because I go through the previews every month and place my order for any new stuff. And yeah, as soon as it said he was going to have powers and stuff, I was like, but he's basically Tarzan. Why does he need powers?
Oh, he's got some crazy ass powers because he's back from the dead, and it's like a whole thing. The art I'm not too keen on either, but let's see. I'm going to stick with it. I'll see how long it goes.
Well, it's only 5-issue miniseries.
Oh, is that all it is?
Yeah.
Why do they keep doing this?
It's to try stuff out, and then I guess if it's successful enough, they'll give him his own series.
See, now that's killer because I just got into Black Cat.
Okay.
And I found out, oh, that's ending at like issue 10 or 11. I'm like, son of a bitch. And I really like that one. The one I'm loving more than all is the Me You Love in the Dark.
I've heard good things. I have not read it.
Yeah, it's about this painter, and she's had a lot of success, but now she's kind of like painter's block, I guess, and she doesn't have any inspiration. So she buys this old home, and there's something in the house that's reaching out to her. It's really the last issue, the last page. I was like, where are we going here now?
There seems to me to be a horror renaissance in comics right now. Yeah. Now, I may have missed. There were a few years when I wasn't buying any, so maybe I'm wrong about that. But with just DC,
yeah, they're doing a lot.
The DC horror line. I have one more issue of their Conjuring series to read, and Soul Plumber, I think the second issue of that just came out or is coming out. Plus, they have the Hill House line.
Yep. I just picked up their Refrigerator Full of Heads by Rio Yours.
I want to say, let me see. Is that coming out? Yeah, issue 2 comes out on Wednesday.
Cool.
Kazar number 3 comes out on Wednesday. My comic shop sends a list every week, an email of what's coming out the next week.
Oh, that's cool.
I put together I gotta unplug my phone. I put it in my phone. There you go.
Yeah.
My phone, so I know what I'm picking up.
Oh, you had Moon Knight on there. I have to get back into Moon Knight.
We'll just go over. Of course, by the time this video goes out, this will all be old information. But this week, I'm getting Blue and Gold number 4, which is
what is Blue and Gold?
It's the Booster Gold Blue Beetle miniseries.
Oh, okay.
One of the greatest bromances in comics. Legends of the Dark Knight number 7, which is a Batman anthology series with different creative teams every storyline.
Oh, wow.
Nice House on the Lake. Have you checked that out?
No, I haven't even seen that one.
Oh, that's yeah, I think that's DC horror. It's James Tynion, or however you say his name, Tynion the Fourth. It's a 12-issue series. It's really, really good.
Oh, I'll have to check that one out.
And then Refrigerator Full of Heads number 2, Dark Ages number 3, which is Marvel's sort of event. I don't know if it's super giant event. It might even be an alternate universe. Some threat is coming up from the Earth. They end up having to destroy it with an EMP, but it wipes out all electronics on the planet.
Right.
And so now it jumps ahead, I don't know how far, where there's no tech on the whole planet. And so you've got heroes turning to villains and villains becoming heroes. And
that's cool. Once you start playing with multiple dimensions and timelines, you can do anything you want.
Dark Ages Darkhold, the Wasp.
I was never a fan of the Wasp.
And this is it's one of those things where it had Darkhold Alpha, and then there's going to be a bunch of one-shots with different characters, and then Darkhold Omega. And again, it's alternate versions of these characters because Doctor Doom's fucking around with the Darkhold.
Right.
And then Kazar, Moon Knight, Shang-Chi, the Vampirella Holiday Special, and awesome. Ms. Tree Volume 3, Cold Dish.
All right. I like that list. Vampirella, I'm all in. Did you pick up Elvira meets Vincent Price?
I haven't.
I got it.
Because I'm mixing trade paperbacks and monthlies because I don't have room for all these monthlies. So a lot of stuff I'm waiting, especially if it's a mini series. Right. I'll wait till the trade comes out.
But it feels like everything's a mini series right now. I'm learning as I'm getting back in. I'm like, this is totally different from when.
And I do make exceptions. Like for the Kazar, I'm like, I want the Kazar.
Right. Yeah, I was so excited when that came out. Like I saw the ad, I think in Black Cat, and I saw that. I was like, oh my God, Kazar's coming back.
And then
he's waiting for me.
A book came out last week. There's a mini series of The Thing from Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Written by Walter Mosley.
Oh wow. That's gotta be interesting.
It was tough, but I decided to wait for the trade.
Yeah.
On that.
I might want to binge that one.
But I'm like, wow, Walter Mosley. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, Captain America had that run with Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yep.
Which
I have those.
When I like you, I sold all my comics. Probably 4 years ago. But I kept all of my Captain Americas. I've got Captain Americas going all the way into like the 50s. Like nobody's touching those. So I love Captain America. I did not like that series run at all. It did not get me.
It was interesting. It's odd. It's an odd run.
Yeah. Get me back to John Byrne doing
Well,
penciling and Baron von Blood, which is one of my favorite issues of any comic.
I was a big fan of the Mark Waid, Ron Garney run that was interrupted by Heroes Reborn. But when I sold, the first time I sold my comics, I sold everything I had. And my big title was Iron Man. For the longest time, Iron Man was my favorite comic. I had a ton of Tales of Suspense. I didn't have his first appearance, but I had like first appearance of Hawkeye, first appearance of a bunch of characters. And then between Iron Man 1 and 200, I was only missing like 17 issues.
Wow.
Out of that entire run. Got rid of them when I went in the Air Force, which is why I'm happy for the Epic collections. So I now have the first 4 volumes, Epic collections for Iron Man. So I've got all the Tales of Suspense appearances and then the first however many issues of his title. I just recently got Epic Collection Volume 1 for Fantastic Four. Epic Collection Volume 1 for Doctor Strange.
Which as a kid, I never liked Doctor Strange.
Always loved Doctor Strange.
However, when I was 5, one of my birthday presents, I got two records, Sesame Street and Spider-Man Rock Opera.
Nice.
So it was the Spider-Man origin story, and there was music throughout the whole thing. And then when you open up the album, it had all these comic panels. And like he met up with the Vulture, the Lizard Man, the Green Goblin, Kingpin. Sure. The best part of that whole thing was, oh yeah, there he is. Doctor Strange sends the Kingpin to hell in the end of it. And there's a picture of the Kingpin burning in the fires of hell. And the record, like he's screaming, no, no. And you hear the fires going and it's creepy music. Scared the crap out of me as a kid, but I thought it was so cool. Yeah, here's for 5-year-olds. Enjoy this. And we would listen to it all the time.
Well, Marvel now is doing, they've always had the Marvel Masterworks. Printing all the old stuff. Well, now they're doing Marvel Mighty Masterworks, something like that. Mighty Marvel Masterworks, which are trade paperbacks for $16.
Really? Oh,
they have like the first, depending on which book it is, anywhere from 6 to 10 issues in it.
Right.
And so I've got
so a friend of mine just gave me a paperback of Captain America from when we were kids. Oh, it's over here. Talking about Baron von Blood.
Yep.
It's a little trade paperback, and it's all black and white inside.
I used to have all of those.
Oh my god!
But these are slightly smaller dimensions than a normal comic book, like just slightly smaller. I've got X-Men, Avengers, Thor, and the Hulk. So their first appearances.
Wow.
I'm ordering Daredevils. Spider-Man already came out and it's sold out. But his Epic Collection Volume 1 is supposed to come out later next year, so I'm going to wait and get that.
Did you see the Daredevil movie that came out this year? It's called Don't Breathe 2.
Oh.
We just watched it the other night. First of all, I knew it was going to suck because my wife's like, I'm dying to see this. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I've heard bad things.
Oh my, he's straight up. First of all, he's a scumbag, right? The first will be a piece of shit. He's a kidnapper, rapist, murderer. This movie, we're supposed to feel sorry for him and root for him.
He's supposed to be the hero.
Yeah, and he is literally doing Daredevil stuff. To at one point, he's got like a wrench, and he's in the dark, and there's water pouring down everywhere. And he listens out for the bad guy running away, and manages to clock him in the temple with the wrench by throwing it across the room. I was like, oh, put the tights and the horns on him then if we're going to do this.
Holy moly. No,
it's hot garbage.
Haven't bothered to see that one yet since like I said, I've heard bad things.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm really like far too deep into the comics now, I think.
I'm trying not to go too deep, but Alien. That's what got me back in.
See, I picked up the first issue.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
It went so there. I think the first arc is 8 issues long, and it is actually kind of cool. And Lance Henriksen is back. Bishop is back, and then now it's starting a whole different thing, different storyline. I'm digging it. I think it's kind of cool. Look, if you can give me that those aliens killing people, I'm all for it.
Maybe I'll pick up the trade.
Because they're supposed to do Predator too.
Right, but that got
delayed.
Maybe I'll pick up the trade. A bunch of the books that I was getting monthly, I stopped getting them monthly and started getting the trades. So like Immortal Hulk, which is a great book.
Yeah. I've read a couple of those.
I've got like the first 25 or so monthlies, and then the rest I've gotten the trades since then.
Right. That's up to like what, 80 or something like that?
Not sure, but it's over. Well, the last issue hasn't come out yet, but it's done. They're already soliciting the next Hulk book.
They should bring back Shogun Warriors.
And Godzilla. That was the other thing I wanted to mention. The comic shop I go to, they have live videos on Facebook on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Right.
And on Tuesdays they'll go over all the new books that have come in. But what they do is they're not really auctions, although occasionally they'll have real auctions. They'll just hold up a book. I'll hold up your book. They'll hold up a book, say what it is, and then they'll just be like $3. And then the first person in the live chat to claim it, it's going to go in their file.
Oh, nice.
And sometimes there's expensive. They've had stuff that's $2,000, $3,000. Sometimes they do dollar nights. But I got ROM #1.
Oh, I wish they still had that.
I was able to claim that. I believe I got a Shogun Warriors, possibly #1.
Awesome.
So a lot of like buying back my childhood, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
why I was so excited for Kazar. I'm like, oh, there's my childhood. Fantastic Four, my childhood.
The wall I'm looking at right across from me is covered in comic books.
Mm-hmm.
And a ton of them are books that I claimed. I've got the Shadow #1 from when DC had it. I've got a Red Sonja #1 from Marvel. Jack
Red Sonja.
Marvel Premiere. What's that?
I used to love Red Sonja. Absolutely. My dad used to get me like the Conan and the Red Sonja, the magazine size, the black and white. Like 8 years old, I'm like obsessing over Red Sonja's boobs.
Well, that's another. They started, since Marvel got the rights to Conan back, they started doing the epic collections of the originals.
Did they?
So I've got the first 2 or 3.
I pray to Crom that I can find them.
3. There's 3 out so far.
That's awesome. That's my childhood right there.
I've got a bunch of that old stuff just on the wall. Contest of Champions #1, an old Firestorm. Some of them are kind of random.
I have a question for you.
What's that?
Here's your choice: Swamp Thing or Man Thing. Where are you going?
Man Thing, I like the design more.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Swamp Thing, overall, I think the stories are better.
I totally agree with you, but I would still pick Man Thing.
That's why I wore the Man Thing shirt.
I didn't even see that you had that on.
Yep.
That's hysterical. Yeah, I love the simplicity of Man Thing. Like as a kid, like Swamp Thing was too cerebral for me. I was like, I don't understand what's going on here.
I just recently bought, and I'll say I don't understand the difference between why Marvel does epic collections and complete collections. Don't know what the difference is, but I just recently bought all 3 volumes of Steve Gerber's Man Thing, the complete collection.
That's tremendous. I have 2 in here somewhere underneath a pile of stuff.
I have all 4 volumes of Howard the Duck complete collection, and then I just got the Man Things. Because I love the design. It's one of my favorite Funko Pops. I have What's
And I
that?
love the saying, whatever knows fear burns at the touch of the man thing. Oh, that's so cool.
I have a glow in the dark swamp thing pop that doesn't glow very well. And it's very cool, but the man thing is just such a great design.
Yeah. I will tell you, you mentioned Howard the Duck. That made me think the only thing I equate with Howard the Duck is a date gone horribly wrong.
Okay.
So it came out. It was at Movieland Theater over by me. I remember it was packed, and me and my girlfriend got there late, and we had to sit in the front row. And this is when they didn't care about front row experience. It was like literally heads all the way back. We can barely see what's going on. So she lights up a cigarette because back then you could smoke in the movie theater. They even had ashtrays in the armrests. So she's smoking a cigarette and watching the movie, and I'm just watching the movie, and then I hear, I keep hearing this in the dark, and I'm like, then I'm smelling something weird. I look over, and she's taking that cigarette and just keeps putting it to her skin on her arm, and just creating this line of burn marks.
Okay.
Like, this is a warning sign that this date's not going well. Maybe
it might go very well.
Well, you have a choice as a young lad full of hormones. You could either run from it or to it. I ran to it, and I dated her for a little while longer until the night that I picked her up, and her eye teeth were now fangs. And I was like, I said, wow, those are pretty cool fangs. Like, how much did they cost? She goes, oh, I filed them down with this metal file.
All right.
And then she bit me later that night, and I had to go to the hospital. That was the end of that. That was
see that.
You sent me to the emergency room. We're done as a couple. Burning yourself with your cigarette. I'm thinking, all right, this could be fun.
Well, I dated a girl, and this was a long, long time ago, and she was kind of into scarification. So we were drinking, and I was like, you know what? Go ahead, do something on me.
Oh,
so I have a tattoo covering it. You can't see it,
right.
But she had a razor blade, and she started making a design.
Oh.
And she got angry because it didn't hurt.
Oh, she wanted you to cry?
So she said that this doesn't hurt. I was like, no. So she took that razor blade and slashed my leg.
Oh.
Does that hurt?
Yes.
So I have a 4-inch long, 1/2-inch wide scar on my leg. Because I didn't have insurance at the time. So I just wrapped it up myself.
Well, you earned that one.
So
you earned that one because you could do it on me. So yeah, she did it on you.
So you can it's my Iron Fist tattoo is covering the scars. It's hard to see the tattoo.
Oh, I could see the scars. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a hell of a time.
Things we do.
Yes.
But you know what though? That girl actually, after I broke up with her, I was with my manager. We worked at a vitamin store, and we were there late at night drinking while the moppers were mopping. And I was like, I'm done with girls, man. I'm not dating any more girls. I'm like, this is it. And he was just like, hey, well, describe, like, what's your dream girl? If you're ever back into girls again, right? I'm like, no, I don't give a shit. But I described the physical parts that I like. I came back 3 days later, and he goes, I hired her. I'm like, who? He says, that girl you described. She's down there right now putting out vitamins. He goes, I walked all through the mall looking for anyone that looked like her and offering jobs. I married that girl, so it worked out.
There you go.
Yeah, so.
Nice. All right. Anything else to say about comics?
Also on my pull list is that 10-issue series with Swamp Thing.
I have the first trade paperback on order.
The sucky thing is, I bought the first issue, I read it, and then I was like, oh, this is really good. And then I didn't go back till a few months later. So I have issues 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Ooh, I hate
So
that.
I'm missing 4, and I refuse to read on until I find 4. So now I have to wait.
I have an omnibus edition. Man, those things are so expensive. Occasionally,
Yes.
well, I got lucky. There's a place called cheapgraphicnovels.com
Mm-hmm.
where you can get stuff like that for half price.
Oh, yeah, you need it for those.
I got both volumes of The Deadly Hands of Kung Fu essentially for the price of one.
Nice.
But I did pre-order from my comic shop the Nancy A. Collins Swamp Thing omnibus.
I didn't know she did Swamp Thing.
That's how I discovered her. I'd never heard of her till she
Right.
started doing Swamp Thing. And then I saw, oh, this is an author. And so then I went and found her books.
I think the
But,
first thing I read by her was Sunglasses After Dark, the vampire book. That was the first thing.
And she, so I have the omnibus that has her complete run on Swamp Thing, which I thought was really good.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'd like to check that out.
And
I'll be at your house tomorrow. I'll bring the beer. We'll just read, chill.
I'm looking over here. I've got both volumes of Marvel Horror Omnibus, which has things like It, the Living Colossus, and their Scarecrow character, and I can't even remember, just tons and tons of their sort of 70s and 80s random horror. The Golem, I think, was one title.
Nice. I love that kind of stuff.
Great stuff. I've got Morbius, the Living Vampire Omnibus, all of the Shang-Chi Master of Kung Fu, because that was my favorite comic for the longest time.
I really, until this movie came out, I said, who the fuck is this guy? I don't remember Shang-Chi at all.
Loved that book. That was one that I had every issue.
Was that like in the 80s?
Started in the 70s.
Really?
The whole Bruce Lee craze. And at the time, somehow Marvel got the rights to the Fu Manchu stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So his father was literally Fu Manchu. And the supporting cast were the characters from the Fu Manchu novels.
That's really cool.
So then
totally missed it.
Which is why, for the longest time, they couldn't reprint any of it because they no longer had the rights.
Yeah.
So when they started doing newer Shang-Chi stories, they had to change who his father was. And
you can retcon anything. It's fine.
I have the first 4 volumes of What If, the classic What If.
Yeah.
And it does not have, there's a What If with Shang-Chi, and it's not in there because they, I guess, didn't have the rights to print it in there.
Oh.
But it is in the omnibus.
I used to like What If. I loved Marvel 2-in-1.
One of my prized possessions, my nephew found it for me. And I have Marvel 2-in-1 Epic Collection, and there's one issue that's not in it, but I have it. It's The Thing and Doc Savage.
Oh, Doc Savage. This attic used to be loaded with Doc Savage books, so my dad was a huge Doc Savage fan.
Got a whole bunch of them over there. I can't see what the issue number is, but again, Marvel doesn't have the rights, so they couldn't reprint that issue.
Damn.
But I have a copy.
I bought on eBay Marvel 2-in-1 Thing and Sasquatch. I'm like, I gotta have that.
Nice. I have the Epic Collection, first volume for that. I have a ton of Doc Savage, not nearly as much Doc Savage as I used to have. I like some of the new ones that are coming out. There's a Doc Savage on Skull Island.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, I like to consider myself a man of bronze.
It starts with the death of King Kong falling off the Empire State Building, and Doc Savage is there, and he basically flashes back to when he was a kid, or maybe 16, 17, 18.
Right. I'm writing this down, by the way. This one I cannot pass up at all.
His dad takes him to Skull Island on a trip, on an adventure. So he meets King Kong on Skull Island.
Well, I'll be with my local comic book purveyor tomorrow. I'm going to say, dude,
that's a novel. That's by Will Murray.
Oh, it's a novel.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I need that.
I also have a Tarzan King Kong novel.
That makes sense.
So apparently, I have not read this one yet, but it's apparently after they've picked up King Kong on Skull Island and before they get to New York, they stop off in Africa for some reason.
Well, to get his nuclear-powered battle axe.
They run into Tarzan. There's a novel that's Doc Savage in the Shadow.
And this is your old new stuff, which is awesome.
Yeah. And the covers are fantastic, of course. There's even one that's Patricia Savage has her own novel.
She's a lady at Braun. She looks like a real housewife of New Jersey.
Yes. All right. So yeah. So many good comics right now.
Yeah, we're comic geeks, everybody, and we're proud of it because everyone's a comic geek now.
Well, I got my
I love that behind you.
Quilt, and I don't know what else you can see at Nexus up here, and there's the Lizard.
Yeah.
There's a Doctor Doom. I don't know how well that guy's showing up. And then a bunch of lead figures with Dracula and the Lizard and Baron Zemo. And
I've got Bigfoot footprints, like plaster cast.
Yeah, you've got all that. Before I put the comics up, I had some stuff. There's an artist that I see at local conventions every once in a while, and I've got a couple of Man-Thing pictures that he did.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a Creature from the Black Lagoon that he did.
Oh, my favorite.
Yes,
Can't get enough of the Gill Man.
Which is why I'm surprised at your choice of movie.
You know why? Look, I love so many movies, but I said, let me talk about something that I don't think gets talked about enough. Like Creature from the Black Lagoon does get a lot of love.
I've been getting a lot of that from people.
Yeah. At conventions, I'm seeing more and more Creature stuff, which is cool. So yeah, I wanted to do something different. It's a movie I visit every single year. Like I had to go to my list. Like, what are the movies that I absolutely have to watch every year, or else I feel like I've lost a part of my soul? Motel Hell is one of those movies.
All right. Well, you know what? We'll save your book for after. We'll jump in. We'll get to the main event here.
I might light mine on fire. I'm in this attic that has no insulation. It's freezing. This water might be ice by the time I'm done.
Before we do that, though, I have to do my fake ad. I don't have to. This is just something I've started doing the last few videos. I'm hoping someone will actually sponsor me or send me free stuff if I keep doing this. And I try to pick something to go with the movie or book that we talk about, but Motel Hell is so wild. I couldn't come up with anything to tie into it. Right. So I'm going generic.
All right.
So this episode's non-sponsor for this week is Trivial Pursuit Horror Ultimate Edition.
I did not know this existed.
There it is. 1,800 questions spanning movies, TV, books, and more. Comic books are in here. I wasn't going to open it, but there's no picture on the back of the pieces, and I wanted to show the pieces that you can use.
What are they, like machetes?
That you put your pies into. So you've got like this.
Oh, that's just beautiful.
Creepy baby doll head. This weird music box thing. I don't know.
What the hell?
Exactly what that is. My favorite is this.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. You got a nice brain with a cleaver in it.
That makes sense. That box thing, is it that movie where the guy put his dick in the box?
It's got a handle on the side and there's a foot on the top. There's a handle on the side, there's a foot on the top. I'm not sure. You got a torso in a straight jacket.
There we go.
And then
That's a
your
good one.
typical like zombie hand
Love it.
coming up out of the ground. And you put the pie pieces in the base. And you know it's legit because there's a header question.
Really?
Yes. There is a question about Edward Lee's header. So you know that's good stuff.
How much is this game? What am I going to shell out?
I want to say $50, but I'm not sure.
All right.
It's been a while since I got it as a gift for Christmas.
I was going to say, I might ask for that for Christmas.
The categories are paranormal, monster, gore and disturbing, psychological, comedy, and slasher.
Yeah, my family would love that game. That's like so up our alley.
There's that.
We just played Cards Against Humanity for my wife's birthday on Friday.
I like that game.
Yeah. Nothing like when you're playing with your 77-year-old mother who's throwing out F-bombs and talking about blowjobs. You're like, oh, God, shoot me. And she won.
Nice. There you go. That's this week's non-sponsor Trivial Pursuit Horror Ultimate Edition.
I dig it, man. I
Get
want
it for your horror fan. Yeah, great questions. Some that, as horror fans, I think are very easy, but some really obscure stuff too.
So, kids, if you want to get something for Uncle Hunter, there you go.
There you go. All right, so let's jump into the main event here. But before we do, viewers, there's gonna be spoilers. So if you haven't seen this movie from
81,
81, there we go. Bringing it up. This says 80 on IMDb.
Oh,
but
IMDb's wrong all the time.
If you no, I meant IMDb could be wrong. So if you haven't seen it, pause this video, go watch Motel Hell, come back and listen to us talk about this bizarre movie, Hunter's pick.
Yeah. And let me tell you, when you watch that movie and you come back, I want you to tell us how much you love us for suggesting you watch it.
This is the Scream Factory.
I have the exact same one.
And I like that they have the flip covers.
Yeah.
So there's the new Scream Factory cover, and then you can put up the original.
I have the original showing.
I always have a tough time choosing.
You can be mercurial. You could change it at will if you want.
Change it up, yeah. Because I do dig a lot of the new art that they put on these things.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to dig into the special features at some point. So, I don't know if this is possible. So you chose this movie. Can you give us a quick synopsis?
Yes. A man named Farmer Vincent has a working farm that he utilizes to make some of the best smoked meats in all the land. And together with his sister Ida, they cook up a few special brews with roadkill.
Yes.
That's the best way to put it. Hilarity ensues. It is a horror comedy, by the way. So
absolutely. It is one of the weirdest.
It's weird because they play it. I mean, it's very over the top, but they're playing a lot of it straight, which makes it really disturbing. And you're like, what the hell is going on here? Like as a kid, I didn't realize it was a comedy at all, because it's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but here's another family from, a different state, and this is what they do. And they do it in a much more fun way than what we do it over here.
Well, Rory Calhoun is Vincent Smith. I love his performance in this.
He was great, and I'd heard he was sick at the time. I think he had cancer at the time. But he's a big leading man. If you know about Rory Calhoun, he was big in Westerns in the 50s, 60s. Handsome, tall, leading man. His home life was terrible. Got beaten. I think his mother used to beat him and stuff. He was arrested at age 13 for stealing a gun and put in a children's prison, which he escaped from. And then he used to rob jewelry stores.
Jeez.
And he robbed a car after a particular heist, went across state lines. It became a huge crime. And he spent, I think, 3 years in jail. And then when he came out, he was like, dude, he's like the man's man. Like, he came out, he was a boxer. He was a logger. He was a miner. He drove construction trucks. I was like, that's a fucking man. You know what I mean? How could Hollywood not take him on? But in Motel Hell, he is not the strapping. He's not even as young as he was in Night of the Lepus. Like, he aged tremendously from Night of the Lepus, which was only, I've got to say, 6 years prior to this. But yeah, he's great. But I think Ida steals the show.
Oh, Ida is fantastic, and that is, let's see, Nancy Parsons.
Yes.
Probably best known, I would think, for her role in Porky's.
Yeah, for sure. Like, when I saw this before Porky's. Ballbricker. Yeah.
Ballbricker. Yeah.
She was in all 3 Porky's movies. But yeah, I saw this first. And it took me till Porky's 2 to like put it together, go, oh shit, that's Ida.
See, I didn't realize it until just rewatching it today.
Oh, really? Yeah, well, when's the last time you saw Motel Hell?
1980? I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I was watching her and I'm like, I think that's Ballbricker.
Sure was.
Yeah, she's fantastic. And this has, in the special features, I believe, there is a special feature about the character. I don't see any interviews or anything with her.
I think she had passed away long before they got a chance to do stuff with her.
But yeah, she's great. Rory Calhoun, who I most recently saw him, not in a recent film, but Joe Bob Briggs' holiday or Halloween special.
Yes.
They showed Angel.
Yes, and he was Kit Carson.
He's Kit Carson in Angel.
That was so not a horror movie. That should never have been on Joe Bob show. Ever.
Well, I guess that was, I can't remember the guy's name. The guy that directed the new Halloween movies.
Yeah.
That was like his pick.
I'd be like, pick again. Like Secret Santa. When you're in charge in the office, somebody picks like the CEO and you see that face. Just pick again. This is like, I don't know. But whatever. It was still a good time.
Yes.
When we watch Joe Bob, we watch as a group of people remotely and we just drink, and basically we never follow anything going on in the movie. Just everyone's yapping. But it's an excuse to get together.
That was the first one I got to watch because I haven't had Shudder that long.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hope it didn't discourage you.
Oh, not at all.
Good.
I've been a Joe Bob fan since I was a kid. They actually used to print his drive-in reviews in our local paper.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I was reading those when they were brand new.
Yeah.
Every week.
A good writer.
And I loved them. I've read the 2 book collections of them, but I don't have them. I would love to have those and reread.
He has a book, not as Joe Bob, but as himself. I think about a book, like a scientific book on satellites, I think, or something like that. Like, he's like got this
interesting. This
redneck hillbilly character is strictly a character. There's more to him.
Yes. All right. Well, back to Motel Hell.
Yes.
I love the opening credits, neon lights.
Yep.
And the fact that the title is literally the sign for the motel that says Motel Hello, but the O is flickering in and out.
Yeah.
But
it's a precursor for things to come.
Yes. But the structure of this movie is just so weird.
Because there's a lot of psychedelic, trippy, weird shit, weird family shit going on in here. Because basically what Farmer Vincent is doing, and by the way, it takes all kinds of critters to make Farmer Vincent's
Vincent's fritters.
Fritters. He causes road accidents and then carts bodies off to bury them in this body garden They bury them up to their necks, cut out their vocal cords, and every now and then stick funnels down their throats to
Yes.
force feed them
Gotta
whatever
feed 'em.
slop, because they got to fatten them up so they make good sausage.
Yes.
And let's not forget the flashing lights and spinning discs that they use to
Yes.
hypnotize them.
I did not realize John Ratzenberger
Yes,
is in the punk
smoking
band.
weed.
Yes.
What they were called, the something.
Ivan and the Terribles.
Ivan and the Terribles. I was going to say the Czars, but yeah, Ivan and the Terribles.
Ivan and the Terribles.
In their minivan.
But the thing about this is, at the very beginning, it starts with the opening credits and just Rory Calhoun or Vincent Smith standing on the porch
with the family.
And then he gets his gun and some other stuff, and he turns on the no vacancy, and he goes out, and it looks like he's just hunting. And there's a motorcycle with a side. Doesn't it have? Yeah, it has a sidecar. I'm pretty sure. Motorcycle with a man and a woman on it, and it just looks like they wreck.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's helping them. He finds the man and the woman, and seemingly the man is dead. He throws him in the back of the truck. He takes the woman, puts her in the front of the truck, takes her back to the motel, puts her into bed, says, "We got to take care of her, Ida. We got to take care of her." So up to this point, we have no idea, unless you already know, if you've seen it before or have heard about it. We have no idea what's going on, and that he caused that accident.
Yeah. He sets chains up on the highway to blow out tires.
Or in this case, we find out he shot it with his shotgun.
Yeah. Hey, got to switch up the methods.
I could not. Well, he talks about that. He's being artistic.
Yeah. The cows, the cow cutouts are my favorite.
Right. Yeah. I couldn't remember if his brother was in on it or not.
No, he was not.
Right.
So his brother is a cop, kind of like a real kind of like Mayberry Don Knottsian type cop. So yeah, his brother is not in on it. So he has. I don't think and I always question this. I don't think he has any idea that what's going in the meat.
Right.
But I think he did realize that Grandma was putting stuff in the meat. Like they do talk about. Didn't they talk once about the dog eating the dog up?
When they're having the picnic, yeah.
Yes.
He said Vincent's talking about how the dog used to bark during Grandma's nap time, so she told him to put him down.
Yeah.
It's like, I did, and that dog was delicious.
And they all laugh.
Little stringier than a goat.
Very matter-of-factly, as they discuss this stuff.
Yeah, until we get to the point where we know for a fact Bruce is not in on it. I couldn't remember.
Right.
Because when the girl Terry wakes up, she's asking about Bo, and Vincent just says, "Well, he passed in the night, and I buried him."
I buried him.
And Bruce is like, she says, "Can you do that?" And Bruce is the one that says, "Well, under extenuating circumstances, in a county like this, we can do that." And so I'm like, so does he know what's going on? Is he covering?
Right, because it seems like a bullcrap line.
Yeah.
But I guess in that town, whatever town that is, do not die accidentally in that town.
And, well, he didn't even die. He's buried in the human garden.
That's right.
But, again, we still have no idea.
Something's a little off with Rory Calhoun when he's got that couple that had been staying at the hotel, and they got their kids in the backseat of the car, and they're kind of like bickering, and he just goes up to roar and scares the shit out of them. I was like, yeah, this guy's a little off.
Yeah, well, yeah, we can see that he and Ida both are just a little off.
And I think way off.
Yeah, but she plays it so well.
Yeah,
so good. And then so the first inkling we get is when the health inspector, I guess, Bob, comes out, and he comes out for his inspection. He leaves, comes back that night, and sneaks into the secret garden. which again happened much earlier in the film than I remembered.
Yeah. Yeah. There are no dull moments in this movie, which is why I love it. There's not a sagging middle. There's nothing ponderous about it. It's just one strange thing after another. And it's not bloody. By the way, if you're looking for a lot of blood, you're not going to get a lot of blood.
Yeah, no, not a lot of blood at all. But yeah, we get that. So Bob finds the human garden, although we don't know that's what it is yet. We just see a garden.
And there's sacks. There's
burlap
sacks everywhere.
And then one of them starts moving and making weird noises, which I love the noises that they make.
Well, yeah, it's like this kind of guttural choking sound since they can't speak anymore.
Yeah, so he pulls a sack off, and there's a dude. It's Bo. It's the guy from the motorcycle, buried up to his neck. His throat has been cut and sewn back up.
Yeah, Ida's very skilled.
Yes, very skilled.
Like Ida
sounds.
Ida does a lot of the heavy work.
Yeah,
like, she knows how to do everything.
And then Vincent catches him and smacks him with a shovel, and Bob ends up in the ground.
And in he goes. Yeah, the garden is great. That's the whole thing. It's just watching this garden grow bit by bit as this movie goes along.
And we get to see how they do it. We see them, the two ski bunnies, I guess.
Yeah.
Women coming back from their ski weekend or whatever it was, with the fake cows in the road.
Big cardboard. They were wooden cows.
Yeah.
Which, hey, that would make you stop your car.
And Vincent just pops up and gasses one of them, and then has to chase down. Has to chase down the other one.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the variety of the ways that he gets them in there. But everything that happens in the garden is so strange.
They're playing.
Well, there's that music that they have. They got to play it, but there's also that, like, whenever they're in there, the soundtrack is like that. Yeah. It's like this weird, breathy pulsations. Like, that's all right. I said, we're in the garden now. Like, if your eyes are closed, you know exactly where you are at that moment.
And then, with Ivan and the Terribles, he's got bear traps in the road, which causes their van to crash. And then he's got a canister of gas. He shoves a hose in the window and just gasses all of them.
Yep.
And they're the ones we get to see the most procedure for.
Yeah.
Because we see him digging the holes and Ida dumping them in. And then how they cut the vocal cords and she sews them up and they patch them up. They're the ones we see getting fed with the tubes. And then they're the ones we see getting harvested.
Harvest time is not kind.
Well, they do hypnotize them first.
Hypnotize, and then you're basically pulled out by your neck with a backhoe.
Well, she snaps their necks first they put the nooses on them.
Right.
And she hits the gas and snaps their necks, and then he jumps on the tractor and just pulls their bodies out.
Ugh. Not a good way to go.
Meanwhile, the girl that he rescued, Terry, is just staying there,
falling in love. I'm like,
so sweet.
What aspect of him are you falling in love with?
Well, I think she has issues because the guy she was on the motorcycle with, Boris, was older too.
Yeah, but not this old.
No. But I mean, he rescued her twice.
He did. He loved her. And let's give this movie credit. There's nudity when nudity is called for.
Yes.
And good nudity. Nothing wrong with that. She does survive Ida trying to kill her, trying to drown her.
Yeah. But it worked out for Ida because she's just like, I panicked. Sorry. I know you were trying to save me. I was panicking and accidentally pulled you under. Yeah. I'm paraphrasing.
Don't Terry's go like, yeah, I understand. Yeah. So it's all right. I'm not going to wear a bra under this white t-shirt while I'm out swimming.
And then she puts the moves on Vincent, and he's like, whoa, we need to be married first. And she's like, oh, are you proposing? Next thing you know, he's talking to Wolfman Jack about performing a wedding ceremony.
Thank you for talking about Wolfman Jack. Preacher Wolfman Jack. Yeah, there, baby. Who takes the porno mag away from his brother.
Yes. And then Ida's reading the same magazine back at the motel.
Yes. It's a very popular magazine in that house.
Wolfman Jack, he's on TV asking for money to keep the church running. But so Vincent wants him to perform a wedding ceremony, and then Wolfman Jack runs into Vincent's brother and tells him about it. And the brother is like, "That's crazy. I need to go straight."
Well, he wants a piece of that. He brought her up to the drive-in and everything.
He's a little too aggressive.
He is definitely a hashtag. He Harvey Weinstein her in the car for sure. Yeah. But back then it was just innocent. Oh, just having fun.
You know, he puts her arm around her. He starts sliding it down. She says no. That should be the end of it.
Yeah.
But he's pushing her down into the seat.
No means yes to the sheriff.
Going for it. Even after she smacked him.
Yep.
And it's not until they hear a call for help over the radio. And he has to go on the job.
And she still kind of liked him as a person.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the scene when they first pull up, when he says we're going to the drive-in, they first pull up and it's like make out point. And he gets on the loudspeaker and is like, "You got 2 minutes to clear out." There's just naked people running all around.
He's such a cheap date, though. He can't afford to take it to the actual drive-in. He's up on makeout point looking at the drive-in and then has the dispatch.
Through binoculars.
Through binoculars and then wire in the sound over the CB radio.
Yeah.
What a cheap bastard. But I like the fact that when he went and found out that Farmer Vincent and her were engaged, he was coming be like, "No, come on, this can't happen." And Rory Calhoun just whips out that rifle and starts firing away. I'm like, he's actually going to kill his brother.
Yeah. And then he starts investigating. He finds the crashed motorcycle and finds shotgun pellets in the tire.
Mm-hmm.
Then he says it's 200 cars in the swamp. That seems like a lot.
I mean, maybe if Farmer Vincent and Norman Bates are working together over several decades.
How big is that swamp?
It's the Okefenokee outlet.
But
so you think it's got to be a lot because he's selling a lot of meat.
Yeah, but it's only half person. He's mixing people with pigs and stuff.
There is a bit
dog,
of pork,
apparently.
Dog, whatever else is laying around.
So Bruce tries to come to the rescue, and somehow Boris works himself free from the hole in the ground, and digs up a bunch of the other ones.
So and they're basically zombies now.
Yeah,
they shamble along and sound like zombies.
Well, I mean, their muscles have to be atrophied.
It's a miracle any of them could even walk.
Don't know how long they were there. I kind of, I figured I'd give Boris a little leeway because I'm like, okay, let's say he's been struggling to get out this entire time. That's going to keep his muscles toned.
Right. Here's the deal. If they're coming for you after being in this hole for days, weeks, months, you're going to smell them before you ever see them because they've been pooping and peeing because they're getting fed well.
Yes.
So I'm like going, oh, that would be really gross. There's no way they could sneak up on you.
Yeah. Which they do. Ida,
they catch Ida unawares.
Yeah. What is she doing? She's walking back to the motel from the smokehouse.
Right.
Yeah. She has her encounter with Bruce and Terry. She knocks Bruce out, takes Terry to the smokehouse. She's walking back. Oh, I think he sent her back to get Bruce.
Either get Bruce or she had to get something or someone from the house. I can't remember which.
She's just walking back to the main house and they attack and overwhelm her.
She goes in a very hysterical way later. But we have glossed over my favorite scene in the movie.
Okay.
When the swingers come,
Oh, yes.
because like if you think this movie isn't absurd enough, a pair of swingers. One guy looks like Sonny Bono, and they come to the hotel because they think it's on the swinger map,
Yes.
and they're looking at Vincent and Ida and like getting all like kind of excited. Which no, I mean there's something wrong with you.
I don't know. Vincent's still a handsome man.
Yeah, but Ida. So they they explain to him that but they're here to swing, man. So Vince says, all right, I'll set you up in a room. And in the room, he's dressed up like a girl, and there's a whip. She's whipping things. She's a dominatrix.
Whipping everything.
She's whipping the entire room, just knocking lamps over, just going crazy. And then they get crazy excited when Vincent and Ida show up in the room.
With rope.
With rope and
They're
a
like,
gas.
ooh, you're into bondage.
So yeah, the two of them are absolutely, they're hysterical.
That is probably the weirdest scene in the movie.
There are so many, they are poking fun at so many different types of people in this movie. Hillbillies, like, the redneck cop, bikers, rockers, perverted swingers. I mean, they are laying waste to everybody and everything, which is really fun. I don't think you could do that anymore. But they think it was too mean-spirited.
But yeah, that's a crazy. So that dude has what is he? A tank top, a bra, a see-through plastic skirt.
Yeah, he got like that from Dale Boz. Not Dale. Who was the girl? Wendy O. Williams. It looked like he was dressed like Wendy O. Williams back in the day. Not Wendy Williams. Heels. I think he was wearing heels.
And she tells him he needs to shave, and he just like pulls his shirt down and starts shaving his chest with an electric razor.
It's got to be smooth for the oil.
And then he's got a hat on, and she's like, let's get warmed up, and just is pouring the oil over his hat and his face. And then that's when Vincent and Ida come in, and they're like, ooh, bondage. Tie me up.
Oh, they got what they deserved.
They got tied up and gassed. But they're part of basically everybody that's in the group that escapes the garden and comes after them are all the people we've seen get taken.
Yes, there are no prior to this movie starting people. So you know everybody at least a little bit. Which is nice.
And then so Carrie's in the smokehouse with Vincent. She can't accept what they're doing, so he's going to have to get rid of her.
Meat's meat and man's got to eat.
Exactly. And then Boris breaks in, drops in through the skylight.
Yep.
He doesn't last long.
Nope.
I mean, he has been in the ground for a while.
It's like I said, it's a small miracle he got that far.
But then Bruce comes in, and the iconic image.
Oh, so good.
Vincent, the door slides open. There's smoke. Vincent with the extra long chainsaw and the pig head over his head.
Biggest damn pig head ever.
Yeah.
She's tied up to a conveyor belt with this like chopping thing mechanism at the end of it. So she's on a limited time. Well, she's still going to be on this earth. And they have a chainsaw battle with the pig head. Oh, that's my favorite scene. One of my top 10 scenes in all horror movies.
I was looking at some of the trivia on IMDb, and they said it took 5 12-hour days to film the chainsaw scene.
Wow.
And it was a last-minute addition.
Well, that was a damn good addition.
Let's see. Let's go back. It was one of the early. Let's see. Yep, 5 12-hour days for the chainsaw duel, according to this.
Well, look, aesthetically, it is pleasing to the eye to see your killer in his overalls and his chainsaw with a giant pig head.
Yes.
If you're Farmer Vincent, this is not the way to survive the night, because this pig head, there's barely any eye holes, He has no peripheral vision.
Yeah, I'm like, how does he see anything?
He doesn't.
Is he looking out through the nostrils? Is he looking out through the mouth?
Right. There's no real way I can see where he's looking out of that thing.
Yeah, I don't know. But he holds his own for a while.
He does. And that's what makes it a classic scene.
And then he ends up losing, and he does some damage to his brother. And his brother takes a swing at him. He misses, but his chainsaw is in a beam or something.
Yep.
Vincent takes a swing at the brother. He misses and overswings and sort of slips into the chainsaw that's in the beam. And that's his downfall.
Yep, that's the unfortunate end of Farmer Vincent.
But except that he has what I've decided is the greatest final line in any movie ever.
Yeah, he has to tell you this big confession before he draws his final breath.
Just insane. I've been living a lie. I used preservatives. And then he's dead.
I thought the first time I saw that, I thought he was going to say, I'm a vegetarian.
I was waiting for that. That's what came into my mind, too.
Yes, but the preservatives?
Preservatives. Because they're supposed to be all natural smoked meats.
Best smoked meats in the county.
Oh.
That's the kind of line one of my editors would he just devours stuff like that. Like, if you can give him one line like that, he'll forgive a whole bad movie for that.
He tells Terry that he's like, everybody in the county's been eating this stuff for 30 years. Something like that. Yeah. He's like, Bruce is one of the biggest cannibals in the county.
They are all unwitting cannibals and addicted to
knows they're cannibals.
Yeah, the sequel could be like, what happens to this town that now has gone cold turkey and can't eat human flesh anymore?
Oh, yeah.
Because doesn't eating human flesh fuck up your brain?
I believe so. I think there's an X-Files episode about that.
So, yeah, I think if you've been eating that for 30 years, it's not going to go well for you if you can't get it anymore.
Well, get on it. Come on.
Yeah.
You can write the sequel to Motel Hell.
The director, he was a British guy, Kevin Connor. He's still alive. You should reach out to him. Say, hey.
There you go.
He also did 2 movies that I'm sure you grew up loving and saw on TV a lot.
Okay.
The Land That Time Forgot and At the Earth's Core.
He did At the Earth's Core?
Yeah. Both with Doug
Cushing
McClure.
And Doug McClure?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Doug McClure.
Okay. That movie came out the same year as Star Wars.
Yeah.
If you look at the effects, the special effects for Star Wars and At the Earth's Core, you would think they were 40 years apart.
Well, maybe in budget and dedication and talent.
I'm a huge Edgar Rice Burroughs fan. I have the some of the Pellucidar books at this point. I used to have them all. And yeah, the effects in that movie are horrible.
I mean, they're kids' movies, really. I think they were rated G. I mean,
well, let's see.
Or maybe PG.
PG.
All right. I don't know. Maybe because it was too scary.
Oh, I'm sorry. The year before Star Wars. So.
Fail.
Caroline Munro in that movie.
Her signed picture is hanging right by my bed.
Nice. But still, I don't think special effects in general jumped that much in a year.
Well, like I said, I think it was the audience and the budget, and they were like, whatever. These kids don't care what they're going to watch. It's fine.
Yeah, let's see. I'm looking at his IMDb. A lot of Christmas stuff.
Yeah. By the way, the guy who was supposed to direct this movie, which makes total sense, Tobe Hooper.
Tobe Hooper.
Because it looks like a Tobe Hooper. It looks and feels like a Hooper movie, too.
What I read in the trivia was that it was supposed to be much more dark and disturbing and violent. And when Kevin Connor came on, he was like, I want it to be a black comedy.
He said, you know what? That's harder. That's a bigger task. Making any comedy is very difficult. Doing horror comedy, I mean, dark, easy. You can make a dark movie. But yeah, trying to make comedic elements in this. But man, they all pulled it off. Luckily for him, he had an excellent cast to make this happen.
He did.
And he gave us Cliff Clavin smoking a joint.
Yes, that was. I was watching the credits and I'm like, wait a minute, John Ratzenberger is in this movie.
Anytime I see that movie and I see him in my head, I'm telling every time Cliff Clavin going, "Hey, did you know the human umbilical cord is 90% potassium?" That line.
See, I either go, I don't know. I feel 50-50 between Cheers and House 2.
Oh, House 2.
And I may be misquoting this, but this is the way I always remember it, is when he's like, what you got here is your basic dimensional portal.
So casual and matter of fact about what's going on in that house. I love that those movies, you got George Wendt in the first one and Ratzenberger in the second one.
Absolutely. I haven't seen those in ages.
I think they're both on Tubi right now. Tubi in the last few months has become the mecca for horror. I mean, I don't know where they got all these movies from all of a sudden, but damn, thank you.
I have to download it. Like I said, I just got Shudder recently.
The good thing about Tubi is it's free.
Typically, I don't watch that many movies because if I have whenever I have the choice between reading and watching something, 95% of the time I'm going to choose reading.
Right.
But since I started doing this show, I've watched more movies since I started doing this show than probably in the past 5 years combined.
Hey, how about this? I'll retire from Final Guys. Then you have to watch whatever the main feature is and 3 other movies. So you got 4 movies a week to watch minimum just to keep up.
All right. So you put us on a clock. So we
got time. We're good.
All right. Any final thoughts on Motel Hell?
Oh, I did look up. This movie cost $3 million to make back down there in the early 80s. It made $6 million at the box office. So
there you go. Doubled its money.
Not a wild success, but a success nonetheless. I remember when it played at the little theater by my house. And I think I was like probably 12 when I went to see it with my friends, all 12, digging the hell out of it. We're like, oh yeah, killing people.
I saw a lot of classic horror movies in the theater in the 80s, but a lot of them, like Motel Hell, I saw on HBO.
See, we didn't have HBO in my house because my dad said, your friend David has it. Go across the street if you want to watch that shit.
I don't know why
can't have an Atari. David has that.
And I would watch, like, I love the movie Streets of Fire.
Oh, Michael Paré.
Every single time it was on, I would watch it 3-4 times a day, every showing on HBO. If I wasn't in school or doing something else, right, I would watch that. And there were other movies that were the same way. I would just watch them every time they were on.
If I knew that Michael Paré was right across from me at Scares That Care, I would have gotten an autograph for you.
That would be awesome. I have the
pictures for my sister.
I have the Shout Factory edition of that movie.
Diane Lane's in that. I forgot.
Yeah, I think that's her first movie.
Absolutely stunningly gorgeous. Yeah, that or was The Outsiders. I forget which one she was. Was her
she in The Outsiders?
Yeah, she's Cherry, right? Isn't that her name in it? Yeah. I
mean, Streets of Fire has a great cast. Willem Dafoe, Rick Moranis, Amy Madigan.
Yeah, Amy Madigan, who's made a little comeback lately. She was in The Hunt, and what did I just see her in? Oh, Antlers.
Antlers. I didn't know she was in Antlers.
Yes, so good for her.
Yeah, big Amy Madigan fan. All right. Okay, so again, anything else about Motel Hell?
I would say, look, watch this movie, and I'm going to give you a good double feature if you want to dive back into the 80s. Watch Motel Hell, which feels like a Tobe Hooper movie, and then watch it with The Funhouse, which is a Tobe Hooper movie. Not really funny, but both of them early 80s excellence as far as I'm concerned.
That was Tim Meyer's choice for this show.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Did he bring about the point that the true horror in that movie all happened to the boy, the little boy?
No, I don't think he mentioned that.
See, that whole movie, the boy, he runs away to go find his sister at this carnival. He has a crazy old man whip out a rifle on him.
Yes, we did talk about that.
He gets accosted by homeless people several times. He gets scared. The monster comes out to grab him at one point. And we know for sure that he is molested by that dude at the carnival who calls his parents.
No.
Watch everything, how tenderly he touches him. And
yeah, it was a little creepy.
Make your skin crawl. So that boy will never recover from that night. The girl might. She's married to a guy that went to my high school, Elizabeth Berridge. Cool. She was hot to trot back. That was her first movie.
Yeah. I actually went out after we recorded that episode. I went and bought the Dean Koontz novelization.
I have that up here. Yeah, it's different.
Yes,
definitely different.
That's why I used to be a huge Dean Koontz fan. Don't care for him anymore, but I wanted to read. I had never read the novelization before. I wished I could have found an Owen West version.
Yeah.
But I found a Dean Koontz version.
And you know where I found it? Up here in the attic. I guess my dad had bought it. I was going through a box. I'm like, oh, this can't be the same thing. And I was like, oh, it is.
Yeah, so that sounds like a... What's that?
I was to say, I love that movie. And to me, the two of them there's similarities in like the feel of those movies. I don't know.
They're both very oddly structured and I think difficult to define.
Yeah.
But both a great watch.
And both not a lot of blood. Barely a drop of blood.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to see Sylvia Miles, stripped down and having sexy time in her 60s, that's the movie to watch.
Yeah, that's a nice double feature. That's a good call.
Yeah. This is why I liked him, despite everything I say to him on Final Guys.
I tried to get him to badmouth you too, but he wouldn't do it.
Tim is a good man through and through. Like me and Jason and Jack, we're horrible, awful human beings. So it's perfectly like we'll shit on each other left and right. But I will do something nice if you want to read like a total action book. Jason's new book, Shattered, just came out. It's really good. So it's part 6.
Yeah.
I like the joke. I said it's part 6 in your trilogy.
Yes. I was going to say part 8, but
it's 6. I think he's got more in the tank.
Speaking of new books.
Oh,
this is your latest. Hopefully I'm holding the right one.
Yes, you are.
So, Faithless by Hunter Shea from Flame Tree Press. What do people need to know about this?
First of all, I wrote that whole book right here in this spot here. I started it at the beginning of the pandemic. It's funny. It's like I had no idea why I was doing this to myself because I came up. It's always like you start a book like, what if this happens? So my question was, what happens to a man who loses his entire family in one fell swoop? And then I refined it to, what if that man is a man of the cloth? And what if he is helpless to stop their murders and he hears it happening on the phone?
Yeah, that's just... Ugh.
That's not a spoiler. That's how the book starts. It's the first chapter.
Yeah, it's on the back cover copy.
Yeah. So not giving anything away there. So, but this guy, Father Raoul, he grew up in a tough neighborhood and with tough friends, and he took this whole new path, built this perfect life with this wonderful woman, 2 beautiful kids that he loved very much, and it's all gone. So not only has he lost his family, he's lost his faith, he's lost his desire to go on. And what he does is his aunt has a farmhouse up in the Adirondacks, and he figures, he gives up the church and he says, I'm going to go up there and I am going to just drink and drug myself to death. But the key is he wants to do it as slowly as possible because he feels responsible for their deaths. He feels guilt for not being able to save them. So be prepared. There's a bit of a ride as you watch a man slowly losing everything. And through it all, you don't know whether, because he's seeing and hearing things, is he losing his mind? Is it the drugs? Is it the alcohol? Or is it something real? So, and then, his friend comes, Felix comes and takes the book in a whole new direction. So
not one of your fun cryptid romps.
No fun whatsoever in this book. And I got to say, as I was writing, especially in the beginning, and it was the beginning of the lockdown, so I was up here 24/7. It felt like I went down to like clear out the soot from my lungs and go to sleep. But I will admit, I was drinking a lot at that, and part was all the shit going on, but the other part was I said I want to feel what this guy feels, and I want to wake up feeling as terrible as he feels, and so I can convey that. And I know some people have read them, like, dude, that's too much. I couldn't get through that. But it is what it is. I want to expose a darker side of, what happens to some people. And I realized that whole experience, like I kept saying, why am I writing this dark book when real life is dark as hell? But I realize now I was writing out what my fear was of losing my family to COVID. And in came Faithless because, I was questioning a lot of things because I do have faith. But I did not for a while there. It's like the wave. It comes and goes for me, unfortunately. We'll see.
Well, as always with any of your stuff, I am looking forward to reading it. I have not gotten to it yet. I'm a few behind.
I'll send you some beer.
I haven't read Slasher yet, or Misfits.
Oh, that's a fun one. Misfits, yeah. Not the band.
And those are your more recent ones. I have some older ones that I haven't read yet. I actually just recently, because I couldn't wait any longer for a physical copy, just recently downloaded the Radis New Yorkus and the other two.
Oh, Jurassic Florida and The Devil's Fingers.
Yes.
They'll never be print copies of those.
I was hoping, because the other ones came out.
Yes, and then my agent got greedy, my agent at the time, and put a provision in the contract where I said, oh, they're never going to do it now. It was like they'd have to pay me like this huge advance to print up these 3 little novellas. I'm like, well, now they're never going to do it. Yeah. Oh, no, they will. And they didn't. What a shock.
All right. Can you tell us about what you're working on now? What's coming up? What's going on?
Yeah. I have a book. I have a new agent, big time agent. So we're shopping around a book that I wrote that's, you could say it's horror adjacent. It's an end of the world book, but it's a kind of comedic way of looking at how the world ends. And it centers around a couple who were on the verge of divorce before everything happened. And now they're stuck with each other, traveling in an RV. And it's really about this relationship and the people they pick up along the way and stuff. And so it's very different. And it might go with Flame Tree Press eventually. I don't know. So we're going to see what we're going to do with that. And today I literally started a new book that I'm going to, it's going to be a novella, a cryptid novella that I'm going to propose to Severed Press. I will tell you the working title right now is called To the Devil a Cryptid.
Okay.
So there is Satanists and cryptids and crazy shit in this book. So
love it.
It's going to be very over the top. I want just over the top, goofy fun, like Bigfoot in the Bronx. That was like my palate cleanser.
Yes.
Faithless. I'm like, all right, I'm going to write this Bigfoot book in my hometown. So this is, on my Patreon page, I asked people for a cryptid suggestion. And then somebody I don't want to give it away yet, but they suggested this particular cryptid, so the book will be dedicated to them. And when my kids found out, they were so psyched because they're really into this cryptid, which I don't know much about, and there isn't really much to know about. So I get to create this new backstory, which is going to be
Very
cool.
cool. All right. Where can people find you online?
They can find me at huntershea.com. That's got a link to everything. So in there, you can find me Twitter, it's Hunter Shea 1. Facebook is Hunter Shea 1. Instagram is Hunter Shea 2017. I don't know. I'm sure I could change that to make it more up to date, but I'm just too damn lazy.
Mm-hmm.
But huntershea.com is the main place to find everything, and sign up for my newsletter while you're there.
And on Tuesday nights,
every night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we do the Final Guys. It's me, Jason Brandt, Jack Campisi, Tim Meyer. And we have a main movie review that we dig into later in the show, but we start off the show kind of with news, all the news that's not fit to print, Jack. Step up your game. And then we all go into books that we read and movies that we watched this week. You'll realize that we waste a shit ton of time watching movies. Way, because we talk about it like we keep a spreadsheet, and there was literally thousands of movies on that spreadsheet over the past like almost 5 years now.
Nice.
And we think about all the movies that never make it to the spreadsheet that we've watched that we won't talk about.
Right.
Because we're like, this isn't even worth it. But yet I found the movie Inhumanwich worth mentioning on the show. So
how could you not?
If you're below Inhumanwich, shame on you. But I just watched one that I was like, oh, this is definitely sub Inhumanwich. It's not making it on the list. And also Monster Men. So we're going to be coming back soon. We have some new ideas to take the show, some new direction for the show. But we've been doing that sucker for 10 years. Luckily, we don't have the same schedule as Final Guys. We can kind of do it as we please. Yeah. So we have some ideas for some cool stuff going forward.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being here.
Oh, it was awesome, man.
Thanks for picking Motel Hell. Just stick around for a minute after I do my outro, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So, folks, that was Hunter Shea. We talked about all sorts of great stuff, including Motel Hell. If you have any comments or questions, put them in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. You all know the drill. I think that's all I've got for you. So until next time, folks. I don't know who's going to be on next week's show, but that'll be in the description below. And that's all I've got for you. So until next time, read more books.